We're here at the I and the trade show floor of the 2018 Potato Expo, and we're going to talk a little bit about children and potatoes and nutrition in schools. So Blair Richardson you're with the Potatoes USA, as I recall.
That's right. I'm with Potatoes USA still.
Perfect. Let me get my mic set. Sorry here.
Yeah, that happens with age, John.
Rachael Lynch, you're also with Potatoes USA.
Yes, I am. I'm the
Good.
Global Marketing Manager for the School Nutrition Program.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about kids in schools. Obviously, decisions that kids, they learn early about potatoes, about nutrition. Does that matter?
In my opinion, it matters a whole hell of a lot.
That's a lifetime thing, you're saying, I think.
We learn what we like and what we don't like when we're young, and it's a good idea to be in front of a consumer that's going to be a consumer for life.
And Rachael, that first experience, a lot of those first experiences can happen in schools. So what's going on with potatoes in schools right now? Because I know you're in schools a lot. Well, you're just young enough. You're so young, you're barely out of school. I'll bet.
Graduated last week,
There
yes.
you go. What's going on in schools when you're in schools and looking at what's happening in school lunch?
In particular to potatoes or with us?
With potatoes.
So potatoes are the number one vegetable on school lunches currently. If you take away beans, beans are more of a meat alternative. So the vegetable number one is potatoes. Kids love potatoes. They help reduce plate waste right now. More students are more likely to eat potatoes or eat other vegetables when potatoes are involved, and that reduces the plate waste.
So when you're there and talking to school nutrition folks at the schools, are there impediments that exist to their ability to serve potatoes that you're encountering?
Absolutely. So for breakfast, for example, it's difficult to put starchy vegetables on the breakfast menu. You know, the criteria for reimbursable meals is to have a fruit, dairy product, and a whole grain. You know, potatoes don't fall into that category. So in order to get potatoes in the breakfast, which we enjoy potatoes at breakfast the most, or at least in my opinion. You have to, play with some rules and do some roundabouts. You have to convert fruit into vegetables. You have to have 2.5 cups of other vegetables, not starchy vegetables, the underused vegetables, in order to get potatoes on.
So you're telling me I might have to serve kale before I can serve potatoes?
Absolutely.
How do you think the kids react to that?
See, that's the other issue. That's why getting potatoes to be a reimbursable meal product is difficult, because there's not a lot of other vegetables that can be substituted, yes.
Now, Blair, I know that you guys are working on a broader range of things relative to schools and kids' knowledge of potatoes. How do you see this barrier that exists to potatoes, say, into breakfast in schools? What's the impact of that from your perspective?
Well, I think it creates a situation where we don't have an opportunity to provide children with a very low cost, high nutrient value product in the school system. We're overcoming that, but certainly at the lunch level, we're seeing some increases. We've been working on this for 3 years now, and Rachael has been out with the schools, and for the first time in many, many years, we actually saw the incidence level of potatoes at school, on school menus, increase by 13%.
So there were more potatoes plated in schools recently than there had been in the past.
13% increase, and this is after many, many years of declines, especially through some different public policy situations that we were facing in Washington, D.C. Yeah. But the big opportunity, I think, is going to be at breakfast, where we're seeing more and more breakfasts served at schools, and right now we're essentially not on the plate.
Right. Well, tell me a little bit, just give me your best, after being in the school, sort of your best kids coming back to you and saying what they think about potatoes and all that. Give me your best 2 instances of kids giving you things that were interesting, funny, or insightful about potatoes at schools.
Well, I showed a video yesterday that had a bunch of kids screaming how much they love potatoes. It was a really cute video. And they enjoy them. They love the different varieties and the flavors. The number one at lunch they prefer is mashed potatoes. And they love breakfast potatoes wedges in the morning. So it's definitely a loved food item for them.
Well, and you mentioned other vegetables on the plate. I assume if you serve a potato wedge at breakfast, you've got a better opportunity to serve it with a sauteed mushroom or a sauteed pepper or something like that. Do you commonly see that in schools?
At breakfast, no.
At breakfast, no.
But at lunch, yes, absolutely. They mix them with other vegetables, especially with their mashed potatoes. They do like a corn or pea mix, 50-50 mash. At breakfast, though, it's usually found that it's just wedges and tots, rounds.
Well, you mentioned plate waste. What do you hear from the school lunch food service folks about plate waste, and is it an issue for them, and where do they think the the issues might lie?
You know, a lot of it stems from how we grew up. A lot of people, the lunch ladies, essentially, they weren't introduced to a lot of vegetables, so they don't feel that they should serve a lot of vegetables, and they think the kids aren't going to like it. So then they have difficulty actually serving it, and then the parents
so let me get
don't
this
serve
right.
it.
So you're saying that the generation of lunch ladies, which are certainly not the generation of lunch ladies that I grew up with, but the generation of lunch ladies that are doing the lunches today, sort of have a bias against vegetables because they didn't have them when they were kids. Did I get that correct? Or?
Certainly not all of them, but there is that
you
stigma.
encounter that.
Yeah, it's as a not healthy vegetable.
Well, that's an educational opportunity, it sounds like to me.
Absolutely, it is. We think there are a lot of great opportunities out there. We've already seen from the many of the studies that are showing that the current policies or the policies we've seen coming out regarding school programs that have been failed. We've seen the plate waste study out of Texas A&M,
Right.
which clearly showed that if you put a potato on a dish, not only do the students like the potatoes and enjoy the potatoes, they will actually eat more of that total plate. That's a win-win for the school and the children.
Well, you're going to continue this program? I mean, you're viewing it successful, and the growers that you work for like what's happening there?
I think that this is a program we'll see continued for many years. This is not a in and out type program. This is a commitment to our youth, a commitment to our future as an industry.
And you see ways to continue to leverage it?
Absolutely. We have seen some significant growth increases already. We know we can win in this category, and we're going to be out there and fight for it.
Well, it makes sense to me because it looks like that kids do like potatoes if we can figure a way to get them on the plate in front of them.
Well, it's not like we're trying to tell them to eat something they don't like. It's an easy win.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for being with us. That was interesting, particularly the idea that the school food service people are going to have a little bit of a bias potentially with that. So that's it on Food Nutrition. We are going to go directly live to the Expo stage for the first cook-off